The big mystery in this NBA gambling scandal is why would a guy making $24 million a year risk it all for some tiny prop bet payoff? Cause we thought guys like Terry Rozier were supposed to be immune to this kind of stuff. Well, we just learned what caused him to do this. But what the NBA did after finding out may be just as bad. And if true, this makes them look 10 times worse than they already do. But first, back to Rozier. We kind of get why a guy like Jonte Porter would do this. He was making $400K a year, so some shady guy offers a payday. Okay, maybe. But Terry Rozier, how could this happen? Well, the FBI just told us who his partner in crime was. But I am taking today's sponsor Vuori out into the real world, because I know it looks good, feels good, but does it play good? Turns out, yes. But I already knew that. I've worn Vuori for years now. One of my favorites this time of year is the Ponto Performance Crew. It's a long sleeve, lightweight crew neck layer for cold weather workouts. And it's got that dream knit fabric, buttery soft performance stretch knit, quick drying and moisture wicking, plus that little side zip stash pocket, perfect for holding a key or a card when working out. But once I do get a little warm, it's onto the Stratotech tee, the softest performance tee in the game. Lightweight, also moisture wicking, and perfect for training or everyday wear. The core short is the exact fit I'm looking for. Just above the knee, athletic fit, perfect for working out. So I like Vuori because they're inspired by coastal California, which is totally my vibe, but designed to fit great, feel great if I'm active or I'm just chilling at the house watching games. So head over to vuoriclothing.com by clicking the link in the description or the QR code. That lets them know that you got there from AM Hoops. Check out all the stuff that I talked about in this video or a whole lot more to browse through on their site. Again, click the link in the description so that they know you came from me, and thanks again to Vuori. Man's name was De Niro Laster, a close childhood friend of Rozier. They grew up playing sports together in high school. So this dude comes to Rozier and asks for a favor. Yo, if you can hook me up with any kind of info, a guy just called me saying he'd give me $100,000. And Terry was probably like, all right, yeah, I can hook you up. He figured, yo, it's late March, couple games of the season, we're not in the playoffs. What's one fake injury? I can hook up my childhood best friend with $100,000 if I do this one time. Such a bad decision because he did it, and then that friend De Niro Laster gave the info to a man named Marvis Faley, a shady gambler. Why do you think he was willing to pay $100,000? It set off a network of illegal gambling all across the country. Shane Hannon, for example, $61,200 on Rozier unders. Co-conspirator 2, $107K. Timothy McCormack and Long Fee Fam, $41K. Co-conspirator 3, $20K. 4, $17K. Number 5, $12.5K. Then 2 guys under $4K each. So little did Rozier know, but he told his childhood friend that spread made it so easy to catch. I mean, $200K getting bet on a Thursday Hornets game? How obvious could it get? And how much money did they actually make? Well, I've seen articles online saying things like, this is the exact moment Terry Rozier threw a game for $200K. He didn't make $200K. That is such lazy reporting. There's been so much bad reporting on this story, it's insane. What they misread was that $200,000 was bet on the unders. Rozier didn't make $200,000. How much did De Niro Laster actually get paid? Remember, he was promised $100K, right? It was less than that. The FBI said tens of thousands of dollars, probably about $20K. So he drives it to Rozier's house, counts out the money. I don't even know if Rozier took any of that. He was probably like, nah, man, you can keep it. But that is how a man making $24 million gets wrapped up in something like this, and how other guys in his position could also too. They have a lot of friends from back home. But Rozier is a terrible warning too. His entire life could be ruined from one bad decision. Some people say he played bad in other games. No, there was one game here. No other betting irregularities, no investigation, nothing shady. This should be a warning to other players. If you do this once, it could blow up in your face, ruin your career, land you in jail. Can you believe Rozier was cuffed at the wrists and the ankles and had to put his house up for collateral on bail over one game? But for as bad as that is, what the NBA did next might be on that level. And if this is true, Adam Silver could be in huge trouble. Now, there's a conspiracy element to this, so stick with me. It starts January 20th, 2025, the first day that we learned that Rozier was in trouble. The league said, hey, in March 2023, the NBA was alerted to unusual betting activity related to Terry Rozier. We conducted an investigation and did not find a violation of NBA rules, but we are now aware of an investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office and have been cooperating with that investigation. So basically, like, hey, you're about to hear that the feds are investigating Terry Rozier. We already knew about that, just letting you know. Well, why didn't you tell us? They kept it under wraps for 22 months. In fact, Rozier faked that injury in that March 23 game. Here's Terry coming off a screen, midi jumper looking great. Oh, then all of a sudden he feels his ankle, leaves the game, no limp, but sportsbooks alerted the NBA within hours of this, okay? Hey, bunch of Rozier prop bets on a Thursday Hornets game. Might want to check that out. So the NBA pulls Rozier the rest of the season. Now granted, there were just 8 games left, but it wasn't for that injury, that was fake. This was an NBA investigation, so they knew and said nothing. Now, I do kind of get not telling the public, because just in case it is totally false, you don't want to ruin Terry's reputation the rest of his life. But they then allowed him to get traded to the Miami Heat with this going on. Really? Do you know how pissed I would be as the Miami Heat GM or a fan? Dude investigated for illegal gambling and you don't tell us? Now, Silver has been asked about this, and what he says is the NBA doesn't have subpoena power, they cannot threaten to throw people in jail. All they could do was look at Terry's phone, talk to him, so all clear. If he ends up guilty, well, hey, they did everything they could do. But not telling the Heat about this is weird. Why? Well, it looks like Silver may have covered up the scandal temporarily to protect the league. Yeah, people see how he reacted to the Kawhi news, all nonchalant. What won't this guy cover up? All he cares about is making money for the NBA. Oh, actually, turns out the NBA found out about the Rozier thing March 23, then announces the new media rights deal July 2024. Whole time said nothing, kept that in the dark. Why? I could just see this coming across Adam Silver's desk, and he's like, yo, this cannot come out right now, okay? We're about to sign for $75 billion. Now, of course, I cannot prove any of this motive. All we have here are the facts and the timeline. You can be the judge. But you know who does care is the Miami Heat. Could they get that trade reversed? Because Rozier has been terrible for them. In fact, he's so bad that in game 1 he was available to play, but not in the rotation because he's that bad. But could they get salary cap relief? Maybe that's one thing, but really if I was them, I would care about the pick. They traded a first-round pick to Charlotte. Fire Miami doing everything to get that back. But there's one other thing that we just learned about the Mafia poker games too. So the FBI says that Chauncey Billups lured rich people in to rigged games to steal their money. But the Mafia is down so bad if the best celeb they can get for their rigged poker game is Chauncey Billups. No way Scorsese can make an interesting movie about this. But maybe not. Pablo Torre reports that Kevin Garnett also played in one of these games. A number of former pro athletes, in fact. And I am sorry, if that is true, no way Kevin Garnett, who made over $300 million, knew this game was rigged. Involved with the Mafia. The FBI says, in total, these games stole about $7 million. What is KG gonna care about that? And if he didn't know, maybe Chauncey didn't know either. And I'm sorry, if Chauncey Billups is innocent, his real crime here was giving info to Damon Jones. And really, that's the only new thing that we found out in this whole big FBI press conference. Damon Jones, a former assistant coach, was selling inside info. We already knew about Terry Rozier. Either way, this is a terrible look for the NBA. People already thought games were rigged, and now this? Adam Silver needs to do something before another scandal is even worse. But the actual basketball has been amazing so far. One of the best starts to a season I can remember in a long time. Rockets game 1 was great, but it did expose a serious flaw for Houston. Even with KD, one thing holds them back unless they make another massive trade.